Flash flood, effect of uncontrolled illegal logging and domestic waste. Flash flood is a flood caused by heavy rains or excessive rain in a short period of time. Generally, it's less than 6 hours. Flash floods are usually characterized by raging torrents after heavy rains that rip through riverbeds, urban streets, or mountain canyons, sweeping everything before them. The two main reasons causes a flash flood are uncontrolled illegal logging and domestic waste. The excessive extractions of timber beyond the stipulated limit is equally pronounced as illegal logging. As global demands for papers, woods, palm oils, companies and people continue to approach even deeper into forests and exacerbating the illegal logging problem. Roles of the forest in preventing natural disasters such as flood, droughts, landslides, pollutions, storms, and other physical disturbance. Forests are natural sponges in absorbing rainwater. This is because of the structures of the forest, with tree roots of various sizes act as a natural concrete work to hold the soil structure to prevent the flash flood. Other than that, the drainage systems being overwhelmed and clogged with solid waste and various large objects such as furniture, electrical appliances, plastic bottles, toys, and other objects that caused by human beings. For the literature reviews, flash flood issues can be defined under the 19 goals, which is protect, restores, and promote sustainability use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainability management forests, combat desertifications, halts and reverse land degradations, and halt biodiversity loss. SDG, also known as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, are the 17 goals with 169 targets that all United members had agreed to work towards achieving by the years of 2030. They set out a vision for a world free from poverty, hunger, and disease. By 2030, end of epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical disease, and combat hepatitis, waterborne disease, and other communicable disease. Usually, this disease is the main disease that occur during and post-flood. Flash flood issues can be addressed under these goals since it's related to the management of the forest that caused the flash flood in Malaysia.
How does this affect us? As more people are well aware, the immediate impact of flooding include loss of human life, damage to property, destruction of crops, loss of livestock, and deterioration of health condition owing to waterborne disease.
Okey, masa banjir hari tu, air memang cepat sangat naik. Rasa dalam masa 20 minit macam tu, air tu dah sampai paras pinggang. Nasib makcik sempat packing barang-barang penting kan. Macam dokumen yang macam surat beranak apa semua tu. Sebab memang dah letak dalam satu tempat. Terus ambil, bawa lari je. Lepas tu hujan memang lebat sangat masa tu. Lepas tu rumah memang habis teruk lah. Banjir dah reda tu, makcik balik lah datang tengok rumah. Sekarang penuh dengan lumpur, sampah, lepas tu kayu-kayu balak. Lepas tu barang-barang elektrik semua memang dah tak boleh nak guna lah. Habis semua barang memang rosak. Punca memang dah dipembalakkan lah. Kampung penuh dengan kayu balak yang hanyut lepas air surut tu. Lagi satu sungai berdekatan ni memang penuh dengan sampah sebab orang kampung banyak buang kat situ sampah. So memang dua ni lah punca mungkin berlaku banjir.
As you can see on my right side, this is a newspaper clipping stating that the main cause of flash flood is due to garbage that has been dumped into drain or river, as well as unmonitored logging and deforestation activities.
Flash flood effects towards society. First, destroy of Aboriginal villages. Logging areas are usually close to Aboriginal villages. When logging activities carried out on the earth's surface, it becomes bald and prone to erosion. The material resulting from erosion will be carried and fall into the river. As a result, the river becomes shallow. When there is a heavy rain, the river cannot hold a lot of water and overflows into the surrounding area. This resulted in flood in the villages of the Aborigines and destroyed their villages. Pollute water resources. Flood as a result of logging can pollute water resources. Indigenous people still use and depend on the river as a source of drinking, livelihood, and other daily uses. When there is a flood water source for them is no longer clean, this can affect their health because the clean water source is already polluted. Physical impact or trauma. Floods also have a psychological impact, trauma experienced by flood victims as a result of the disaster. For example, during the monsoon season, the people living in the flood area will feel restless, worried, anxious, and scared. Property damage. Property damage due to floods affects flood victims such as vehicle, shelter, and other necessities that needs money to be repaired. Flash flood effects towards economy. First, the tourism sector. The tourism sector was among those affected by floods. Recreational areas such as resort beaches are littered with garbage from dumping or logging waste. This also includes forests because of the garbage left by visitors as well as from floods. Logging also provides unattractive scenery to enjoy. As a result, the recreational area is not interesting to visit again. Second is agriculture and livestock. The agriculture and livestock sector suffer losses as a result of the flood disaster. Agricultural produce is damaged, lost, or washed away by floods. Third is business. Flood event resulted in many businesses suffering losses when business goods and equipment were so badly damaged that they had to be disposed of. Even more unfortunate, some traders who had to close their business because of they are unable to bear loss. Effect to a government is increased government spending. Flood often damage public property such as roads, buildings, electricity, and cause various types of disease. All of this will be borne by government by repairing the damage and funding the medical equipment. The government also had to provide various basic necessities such as food and drink, medicine, as well as provide temporary accommodation for flood victims. Flash flood effects toward environment. First, increased temperature. Logging activities will increase the carbon dioxide gas in the air. This gas is capable of trapping heat in the atmosphere rather than being reflected back. This phenomenon causes increase in temperature. Number 2 is the destruction of flora and fauna habitats. The destruction of flora and fauna habitats is also a result of illegal logging activities. Forests are natural habitats for a wide variety of plant and wildlife. This can lead to extinction of endangered living species such as tiger, forest elephants, and so on. Number 3 is excessive amount of nutrients. The presence of domestic waste in the water area can cause the water in the area to get excessive amount of nutrients. This condition causes a process of eutrophication in which the nutrient cause the algae to grow excessively, and when the algae die, the bacteria that decompose, the algae will use large amount of oxygen so that the other living things cannot survive due to lack of oxygen. Number 4 is water pollution and air pollution. When floods occur, sewage waste and toxic substances
as well as animal carcasses will flow with the water flow. This causes water pollution that will affect the life of humans, animals or plants. In addition, it will cause air pollution because the smell also makes flood victims feel uncomfortable.
How to resolve the issue? First, the drainage system should be repaired. The drain that have been shallow from the sediment or waste material should be always clean so that the overflow water and rain can be drained properly. Second, river deepening project can also be implemented as most of the flood occur due to the shallowness of the river. This is due to the process of deposition and disposal of waste materials and logging waste. The process of deepening of the river by dragging mud and dirt can be drained a large amount of rainwater. Third, forest conservation can also help prevent severe flash floods from occurring. Forests are water catchment areas that are able to absorb rainwater from flowing directly into tributaries. It also acts as a filter in determining the cleanness and clarity of the water. The next point is urban communities in particular need to be aware that environmental pollution such as dumping garbage into drains and drainage system is the cause of the flash flood. Control the urbanization process by planning a good and orderly drainage system. A good drainage system can be drain more rainwater and can prevent water overflow. I suggest the government must take firm action against offenders that found engaging in illegal logging activities.
Based on the discussion that have been done, we can conclude that the torrential rains that result in floods in many states of Peninsular Malaysia expose the reality of extreme weather patterns that caused by climate change does not match the existing drainage system. But there are several another reasons why this flood happened. Among the causes of flood that occur in the country is due to uncontrolled serious property damage and even loss of life. In our opinion, all parties should play a role in overcoming this problem before it happens again in the future. First, government urge to improve disaster planning as sustainable development. Government need to improve its early warning system so that major flood events in the future can be better handled. We can stop the weather, but we have enough information to make good prediction, and with a good warning system, we can have a good response to such incident. Besides that, this incident is a good lesson for state authorities to now focus on efforts to maintain forests, build sustainable buildings and nurture to the public to adopt environmental ethics. Malaysia should use this incident as motivation to focus on cutting down emissions, stopping deforestation and creating a dialogue with the mass. In terms of mitigating the effect of such major flood events due to climate change, government cannot do it alone. Apart from that, the community must also play an important role in preventing flood disasters by not throwing garbage into the drainage system and practicing recycling to reduce the amount of garbage. Not only reduce the use of natural resource, but the cleanliness of the environment can also be maintained.